We want to begin with this, our exclusive interview with actress Natasha Henstridge, who along with 8 other women have now publicly accused movie director Brett Ratner of disturbing sexual misconduct, even rape. While Ratner categorically denies claims of sexual misconduct, the LA Times reporter who first broke this story says other individuals have reached out to the LA Times privately about Ratner. How many others? They say the number is now 45. Henstridge's account is one of the most disturbing of outright sexual assault. Watch.
Oh no, I think someone's at the door.
Don't go.
Natasha Henstridge has it all. Looks, acting chops, a family. You may know her best from her breakthrough role as an alien-human hybrid in the 1995 film Species. She was 20 when she starred in the movie, just 1 year after she says she was assaulted by then up-and-coming director Brett Ratner.
What's up, man?
Ratner went on to become a powerhouse in Hollywood. To date, his films, from Rush Hour to X-Men: The Last Stand, have reportedly grossed more than $2 billion. But now, at least 9 women are speaking out about him, accusing Ratner of sexual harassment and misconduct. Henstridge herself revealing in an October 12th tweet, Harvey Weinstein is not the only major Hollywood predator out there. That's for sure. I know firsthand. And about 2 weeks ago, telling the Los Angeles Times about the night she found herself alone with Ratner in an apartment in the mid-90s. She says she fell asleep after hanging out with friends. When she woke up, all of her friends had left. That's when she says she got up to leave and Ratner blocked the door, then forcing her to perform oral sex on him. Although he acknowledges spending time with Henstridge, Ratner disputes her claims, through his attorney accusing Henstridge of being upset after learning my client had a girlfriend who he would not leave for her. But the allegations against Ratner continue to mount, including from actress Olivia Munn, who says he pleasured himself in front of her in his trailer on the set of After the Sunset in 2004. Ratner vehemently disputes that claim and categorically denies all allegations of sexual misconduct. Natasha Henstridge is with us now. Natasha, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Megyn.
What is it like to see him in that piece?
Gosh, it's really hard to watch. It's hard to hear the denials and it's hard to watch. And yeah, I'm so emotional right now. I'm so sorry.
It's nerve-wracking.
It is nerve-wracking. Obviously, I never thought I'd be on your show talking about something like this, or anything personal really on that level, other than your fun things where you're promoting your shows and your movies and you're having a laugh and joking around and stuff. So something this personal is very, very difficult.
But to your credit, because so many actresses have come out with these allegations in a tweet or on Facebook and refuse to go on camera. And a lot of people in this country don't follow Twitter and they don't read The Hollywood Reporter, but they watch the Today Show.
Mm-hmm. I did not want to do that. I did not want to be on camera either, I'll be honest with you.
It's hard.
I really didn't.
Take us back, if you would. You're 19 years old. This is before we all knew you,
right.
The way we now know you.
Right.
And you're up and coming in the business. And what did you think of him when you met him?
I was actually strictly speaking, before I actually was acting in the business.
Modeling?
I knew him through a group of friends. I was modeling at the time and doing TV commercials and sort of just starting off. And I knew him only through a group of friends. I mean, we had some mutual friends that we spent time with in group dynamics. Only a couple of times. I did not know him well at all. So we were in group situations 2 or 3 times, I believe, and like your thing said, basically found myself with a group at night, hanging out, watching a movie at an apartment around the corner from where I lived, which I assumed was his apartment. Again, I didn't know him well. I'd never been there before. It was 6 or 7 of us there, and we all sort of fell asleep, or what I thought. We were just dozing off watching a film, and when I woke up, I was alone there with him and tried to leave. And one thing led to another, and he didn't. He was not going to allow me to leave. So he blocked the door and didn't let me leave. And it got really scary from there.
Do you remember what was going through your mind in that moment?
At first I thought he was just coming on strong and trying to convince me that, that there was something between us and that, he was just trying to be super convincing. So initially, that was my initial thought until I made more of an effort to sort of get out. And that's when I realized he wasn't, sort of wasn't playing around anymore. And he just got very aggressive. And yeah.
After it was over, how did you feel?
Pretty terrified. I ran out of there. I got out of there pretty quickly. At that point, when I was allowed to leave, that's what it felt like. When I was allowed to leave, I got out of there pretty quickly, and I lived very close by. So I ran home from the apartment that day. I ran home in tears and feeling horribly ashamed, but also feeling dirty, feeling gross, feeling all of those things, but also realizing that I had nothing to do with it. I had no say in it. It was just it's a horrible situation. And, a lot of people have asked, how can that happen? How does somebody force you into oral sex, And when you're afraid of somebody, when you physically don't know what somebody is capable of, when you're afraid of them, you don't know what they're capable of doing, and therefore you submit, and I submitted. I did submit.
And then many women have talked about they shame themselves after the fact and blame themselves.
Yeah.
Did you have that?
I think I did. Honestly, I went through the emotional impact of that, and I think at that point I just shoved it away very quickly and moved past it. I mean, it certainly reared its head at times when I had to run into him or see him, and I've obviously spoken to boyfriends about it, and things like that, people that I was very close to, friends, and that sort of thing. But I just you just push that stuff away, and you become a warrior and strong and forget it ever happened, and that kind of thing. So I think that's where I chosen to live and how I chose to live after something like that.
Because he went on to become this very successful director. I mean, back at the time, he was doing music videos. Now he's one of Hollywood's biggest directors.
Yeah.
And you see him in the Hollywood Star of Fame, and he's so celebrated for X-Men. Were you sitting there at home like,
I thought there is so little justice when I see some of these people that are not good people. And when I see them rise, and they're in the same business, and we sort of started similarly, at similar times, and sort of moving to Los Angeles, I think at similar times, and just seeing him just sort of catapult into fame, and I thought, wow, life really isn't fair. Honestly, that's sort of how I felt.
There's much more into Natasha's story, and including, Brett Ratner has threatened at least one of the women, accusing him with a defamation suit. He's brought one against her. And so these women speak out, not without risk. We're going to pick it up there right after this break when we have more with actress Natasha Henstridge. And we're back now with actress Natasha Henstridge. I want to tell you that Brett Ratner has, we reached out to him for a statement. He's represented by attorney Marty Singer to see if they had anything to say about Natasha's being here. They had no further comment. Ratner denies Natasha's allegations, as well as those made by the other women who have spoken to the LA Times, which first reported the story. In a letter to the LA Times, Marty Singer wrote, quote, "I've represented Mr. Ratner for 2 decades. No woman has ever made a claim against him for sexual misconduct or sexual harassment." Made a claim against. In other words, try to pursue a lawsuit. Singer says in a 10-page letter to the Times, "Furthermore, no woman has ever requested or received any financial settlement from my client." Why do you think that is?
Why do I think?
Why do you think nobody's ever made a complaint against him?
Because they're as scared as I am, and I was 2 weeks ago coming out about this, and the same reason I'm here. You're afraid that that you're going to get sued, and you're going to be up against somebody with $1 gazillion, and and you have your name dragged through the mud, and you're going to be lied about, and all of those things. Mm-hmm. I think that's a big part of it. Also, it's difficult to speak about something so personal. I think it's it's hard for women to do that. I think. Did you tell anybody? Did you tell your family at the time? I did not tell my family at the time. I did share with quite a few friends over the years. At the time, that it happened, I don't believe I shared it with anybody.
You recently told your parents?
I recently told my parents, yeah.
What was their reaction?
You know, oh God, it's so hard to talk about that. I don't even want to get emotional again, but my parents, who are this lovely Canadian couple who are very, they're the type of people that, you know, you just keep your head down and don't make waves and you know, don't draw attention to yourself and, you know, you get on with it. So I was really concerned and I didn't want to disrupt their lives. And I know that's, you know, it's difficult for them to hear these things, but also have all of their friends and other family, you know, hear all of these things. But both my mother and my father both wrote me, and even up until today, they both said, you have to do something. And for me, that was huge. Mm-hmm. They said, you can't let this happen to other women. And you know, that's the turning point. When you realize that it's happened to other people, and you have that, that shame, there's even more shame, more guilt on some level of realizing, oh my goodness, if I had done something about this then, if I had only done something at the time, maybe I would have saved, you know, how many other women from the same situation, possibly worse.
You can't put that on yourself. That is on him.
I know. But yeah, my parents were a huge part in coming forward and very supportive, and it surprised me. It really surprised me, and I really appreciated it.
I know you also have a story about Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, lucky me.
I mean,
yeah, the whole reason I came forward about Brett is because people knew the Harvey Weinstein story. Another one of these stories, very similar to one of your other guests, basically, but I was in Sundance in a hotel taking a meeting with him, and one thing led to another. He got very flirtatious. Suddenly it became not anything about the job that he was trying to offer me or put me up for anymore, and it became all about flirtation. And he, you know, he did some terrible things there as well, and you know, came on to me repeatedly, and you know, the story goes much deeper, but the whole reason that I came out about Brett is because I had the situation with Harvey, and everybody was telling me, and people knew the story as well, and people were, you know, imploring me to come out about it. By the way, to the tune of people paying you a lot of money to come out about these things. They offer you money to tell the story, and
tabloids, that
tabloids
kind of thing, yeah.
And people that knew, and you know, that kind of thing. Which I would never do.
Which you didn't do.
I didn't do, and I would never do, to have money associated with something like that. Mm-hmm. But I realized when I started becoming more confident with the idea of coming forward and joining these other women and supporting these other women that have dealt with this as well. When I started sort of toying with that, I realized, how can I come forward about Harvey? Because it's safer, because so many women have, and not come forward about somebody who's not been identified yet, who's probably still doing this today.
And we haven't been able to speak to Harvey's in rehab, so we haven't been able to run your claim by him. Mm-hmm. He's denied all allegations of non-consensual sex. How would you weight what happened with Harvey versus what happened with Brett?
The Brett thing was more aggressive. Harvey, you know, definitely tried, and I don't know what you say on daytime television, but you know,
did he pleasure himself?
He pleasured himself in front of me. I was, you know, yes, he did all of those things, and I was then stuck in a room, and you know, he tried to get into the room. He consistently came after me. All of those things. I did manage to avoid an actual physical attack by him.
Just listening to you, you know, it makes you feel outraged. It makes you feel like, how many times does an actress need to go through this in order to be in films in Hollywood? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Was this considered just the price of business? I mean, in your mind?
I feel in some weird way like we have been lulled into some idea that this is kind of normal. We've been, and obviously it's not normal. Obviously it's incredibly, you know,
dark and disturbing.
Dark, disturbing, and you know, all of those things. But I feel like we've been lulled into this false sense of that's just normal behavior. You're an actress, and it's expected, and you're a symbol of certain things. Or, in my case, I did a lot of films that were, where I'm playing the beautiful role or the sexy role, or, those kinds of things. And so I think on some level, people just start to expect that they remove that part of you, the part of you that's an actress, from the human part of you. And
the whole point of a lot of these actions is to dehumanize, to degrade, because it's not about sex. In most of these cases, it's about power and control. Hopefully it's changing because of people like you speaking out. Again, I do want to underscore, in fairness to the men, they deny it. Harvey hasn't spoken to Natasha's claims just made here, but Brett has denied it. These things don't always play out in a court of law. Sometimes they play out in the public square, and it'll be up to the public to decide what they think. But thank you for telling your story.
Thank you, Megyn. That's why I'm here, honestly, for that reason, just to enable other women to come forward. And
everywhere, not just in Hollywood.
Absolutely everywhere. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah.
All the best to you.
Thank you, Megyn. Thank you.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.